My love affair with orchids started in 1980. And how do I know that date? It's when I graduated with my first master's, and my dad showed up with a gift of what we now call the cabbage orchids, or at least, orchid growers. And those are the big, beautiful, floppy purple cattleyas. And he said, grow this. And then I discovered Phalaenopsis, or the moth orchids, which you see here, and dendrobiums, and bolophyllums, and catasetums, and lalias, and cattleyas, and on and on and on and on. There are so many different orchids to grow. What's wonderful about them is that they have quite a long stretch of bloom, and if you treat them properly, which really isn't much, they will bloom again for you anywhere from 6 to 8 months after they stop blooming. How long can a Phalaenopsis bloom? Anywhere from a month to 6 months. Some of them will cast another, what we call bloom spike, off of the old one and make more blooms. And so you can have 6 months of bloom. It depends. But they are beautiful. There are many different types, as you can see, a clear light pink, a beautiful fuchsia, and look at that combination of that kind of magenta with a gold. What more can you ask for from a plant? Let's talk about how an orchid is built, because it's different from a lot of the plants that you may have grown before. So this is one of my orchids, and I'm going to say no orchids were hurt in the making of this film, but you'll notice that the roots are in and around this ball of sphagnum moss, because these are epiphytic roots, roots that grow in the air. And this orchid actually grows up in a tree like this, sometimes hanging upside down, sometimes upright with the roots coming down. So we don't want to put this in good garden soil because it will die. It needs to breathe constantly. And you can see that this orchid is nice and healthy. Do I fertilize my orchids a lot? Not that much. And I fertilize them while they're in bloom, and then I let them rest a couple months, and then I start fertilizing again. There are fertilizers that are made just for orchids. You can use that, or you can use a balanced fertilizer. But I fertilize very lightly. I will look at the recommendations on the outside of the package, and when it says so much per quart or gallon, I will have or even quarter that. Because to me, I like to do a gentle fertilization of my plants, because these roots take fertilizer right inside. There is so much information out there about orchids. And I wanted to show you this book for those of you who are plant geeks and book geeks. This is about most of the orchid genera that are out there that are available for people to purchase and to grow. Some of them easy, some of them difficult. The moth orchids, or Phalaenopsis, are easy. Paphiopedilums or slipper orchids are easy. Dendrobiums get a little bit more difficult. I don't know if dendrobiums have a common name. I've just always called them dendrobiums. But if you're wondering how to grow them or want more information, here is one book that recently was published by the American Orchid Society. My go-to when I have a question about orchids. Also, they have these phenomenal fact sheets that are downloadable, printable, etc. And if you look, this is dendrobiums, this is Phalaenopsis, and then there are about 6 or 7 others. They don't have one for every genus because most people aren't going to get into some of the more esoteric genera. But again, plant geeks, there you are. Beautiful pink with the lines, and then you have where we get to play with red and yellow and that big beautiful lip.